So what's going on, guys? So TikTok has officially been banned. Thank God. Thank the Lord. Do I care? Not really. I mean, but to be honest, I use TikTok. Well, I don't use it. I've used it. Honestly, I watch most of my content, or consume most of my content either on YouTube or Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I'm just trolling a little bit. Like, do I care? I know, like it. So TikTok is brain rot. A lot of this stuff is just brain rot. It's BS. Like, it's just nonsense. It's a whole bunch of nonsense. Yes, there's some legitimate stuff on there. It's entertaining. You know, there can be some knowledgeable things on there, but the vast majority of it is just brain rot garbage. Like, it's just absolute garbage. And so the I guess the adult side of me is like, good. like get it out of here. Like, it's trash. Like, get it out of here. Ban OF next, right? But then another part of me is like, we really shouldn't be banning apps. We really shouldn't be banning apps, but I think you have to be a little bit reasonable with this, or at least I consider it to be reasonable. But I think people, especially younger people, have an issue with nuance and like understanding that two things can be correct at the same time without going to the extreme. Do I think that TikTok and China are stealing our data and using it for nefarious purposes? Yeah, I'm not dope. Yeah. Do I think American apps have been doing this forever? Yeah, I'm not an idiot. Of course. Do I think if TikTok gets banned or got banned, that I'm gonna go to a freaking red note and just hand over my information to China anyway? That's stupid. That's stupid. Why? Like, it just to me, there's so many people, especially younger people. Matter of fact, even people my age, they're just stupid. They're just dumb. Like, it just is what it is. Like, they take everything to the extreme. Like, it's always extreme right or extreme left or just insane. Like, turn your phone off. Like, what is going on? You can survive without TikTok. You can. Yeah, there's some people and some companies who have made a living on TikTok, and I feel bad for them for that. You know, because that's bad. Like, just don't be. I'm trying not to have myself be a dick here. They have to figure out another way to earn money. I get it. I totally understandable, right? But the vast majority of TikTok is just a joke. It's brain rot. It's scrolling brain rot nonsense. And then on top of that, yes, China does use it to steal our data. Stop being an idiot. Like, it's just true. Go look at Chinese TikTok compared to American TikTok. The kids are learning how to like build things and learning their math and all this. Like, it's wholesome content. And then the American TikTok is it's a joke. Like, we've known this forever. Like, it's an absolute joke. So why in the world would anybody be like, oh my God, we got a slippery slope. You got to hold on to TikTok. Like, I honestly can't stand people like that. The whole slippery slope people. Yes, slippery slope things exist. Yes. But for some people, everything is a freaking slippery slope. Oh, the slope is slipped. Shut it down. These are the same people that will do that. They're like, oh, we slipped the slope. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. They're getting too close to the sun. Shut it down. You know what I mean? But then if you do shut something down, like, oh my God, they lose their freaking minds because they can't get their freaking brain rot for the day. Like, so stupid. Anyway, just a quick introductory rant. Like, it's just dumb. Like, I hate it. I hate everything about it. Anyway, so Stephen A. Smith, apparently he has some thoughts on TikTok ban. I just want to see what he has to say. I've not really reacted so much to Stephen A. Smith's like content outside of sports related things, but it seems like a pretty short video. So I just want to see what he thinks. I'm not saying that he's like the arbiter of what's going on with this situation or TikTok for that matter, or social media or any of this, but it's a pretty short video. And I think as an older person, he may have a little bit more of a substantive take on the matter rather than just being somebody who's just in this ecosystem is like, I need my TikTok. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I could totally be wrong, but let's just find out. That's the only way to find out. So let's just see what he has to say. I'll give my thoughts on it when it's done.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show. I'll get into the NFL playoffs in a moment, but first I want to address an important story that will affect at least 170 million Americans who use TikTok. Earlier today, the Supreme Court unanimously upheld a law that would effectively ban the social media platform in the United States this coming Sunday. The court rejected an appeal from the app's owners that claimed the ban violated the First Amendment. In its opinion, the Supreme Court acknowledged that for 170 million Americans, TikTok offers, quote, a distinctive and expansive outlet for expression, means of engagement, and source of community, end quote. But the court said Congress was focused on national security concerns, and that was a deciding factor in how it weighed the case. They said, quote, Congress has determined that divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns regarding TikTok's data collection practices in relationship with a foreign adversary, end quote. The foreign adversary would be China. So what happens next? The focus now shifts to President-elect Donald Trump, who can intervene after he takes office on Monday.
All right, I gotta pause. I was gonna let it play through, but I think there's another video that I have loaded here. I am totally aware that the current situation with TikTok as we sit here today is apparently the ban was lifted, and apparently it was Trump who's getting credit for. He's like, I'll give him a 90-day extension or whatever. And in my mind, I'm hearing this. I'm like, Democrats are so stupid. So stupid. They're so dumb. If that's what he actually did, if that was his play, because he was the original person that wanted TikTok banned to begin with, and then he turned around and gave him an extension, and now all the brain-rotted losers on the left are like, oh man, they have to say thanks, Trump. Oh my God. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. There's a video. I'll react to it later. But on top of that, yes, China is an adversary, but also that's not the reason that TikTok was, Trump and some Republicans and some other people wanted TikTok to be banned. That's not their actual reason. Yes, again, two things or three things in this case can be true at the same time. China is stealing our data. China is using it for espionage. There are other ways that China is using espionage, but don't be stupid. We're like the big, I feel like America and then the American citizens are we're just being leeched off of by everyone. We're the big dog on the block and then we're just leeching off of. You know what I mean? That's all it is. That's literally all it is. But in my opinion, from what I've seen, the main reason they really want TikTok banned is because of Israel. It's literally because it has been a platform where people have been allowed to communicate freely, and a lot of people have been sharing information there freely, and a lot of it was anti-Israel. Who was that famous quote or would have said you figure out who you can't criticize, and that way you will know who controls you. This is literally what's been going on with TikTok. This is why they're using China as a crutch. China probably is stealing our data with it, more than likely. I would if I was China. I would. But the true culprit here is the Israel lobby. It just is, guys. Wake up. Hello? Wake up. Anyway.
After the ruling, Trump said, quote, it ultimately goes up to me. So you're going to see what I'm going to do, end quote. Trump also acknowledged that he spoke to Chinese President Xi Jinping earlier today. Again, roughly 170 million Americans and more than 1 billion people worldwide use TikTok, according to the company. I'm torn, but let me be very clear. I'm only torn because of the moment that we're living in. We're about to have on a guest who, along with his wife, is making some money they desperately need because they lost their home in the fires in Palisades.
Wow.
Their parents lost their home as well. And the guy's name is Spencer Pratt, and he's about to come on here in a few minutes to talk to us.
Wait a minute. Is this who I think it is? Millennial. Hello, I'm a millennial. Is this the Hills guy? Isn't it the Hills guy, Spencer Pratt? I swear it is. MTV, yeah.
What he lost, how he lost, what he was able to retain or to save and conserve, and what he ultimately had to forfeit because the fires wouldn't allow otherwise. He encouraged
this is him.
To go
her.
and listen to her music and what have you. Apparently people have been doing that, and they've been using that as, music on TikTok and stuff like that, and it's gone viral.
Oh, wow.
And as a result, they're generating some revenue off of that, and there's no crime in that. When you see something like that, you make money any way you can, legally, any way you can in such desperate times. They're not robbing anybody. They're not killing anybody. They're not doing anything. So as far as I'm concerned, hell, YouTube, why we got a show on YouTube? Why does everybody got a podcast and it's running on video and YouTube and other platforms? Because you're going to generate revenue for it. So I get that part. Mm-hmm. But national security is national security.
Yep.
And if Congress has a concern about that, maybe the appropriate decision would be to delay it for about a few months or so. As one Democratic representative is suggesting, maybe that's something that you do. I don't know.
See, this is why maybe sometimes it's good to listen to an adult every now and then. How How could you hear what he just said and disagree with that? Maybe you should delay it. National security is national security. I know, again, some Gen Z, even some millennials, they're like, oh, America, it's stolen land, and they're all on this like nonsense. Bro or girl, you live here too. You think China, Russia, shit, even Israel, you think they discriminate against what you think and what you don't think about if it's stolen land? They don't care. They don't care. You need to protect your friends, your family, your land, your property. You live here. What you want to live under Chinese rule or something? Not saying that's gonna happen, but I'm just saying we're ready to live under Israeli rule. You know what I mean? Like, we're all just being leached off of. Yeah, I understand that. Like, there are people in like who have gone over to that Red Note app and they're like, oh man, the Chinese are just regular people. Yeah, no shit. Like, no shit. Why is this like astonishing to some people, right? Like some people's brains, like, I think it is because like TikTok and social media, they can't wrap their heads around nuance and that two things can be true at the same time. Are there lots of Chinese people on those apps and they exist in the world, just normal people who want to live their lives, have fun, have money in their pockets, have a good family, have a good job? Yes, of course. Are there probably still Chinese agents on those apps who are there pushing propaganda? Yes. What are we doing? Like, why is it so difficult for people to wrap their freaking brains around the fact that both of these things exist? Like, there's a generation of people who have grown up online, and I do think that millennials, we're able to exist before the internet and after the internet. We know what both things look like. So I think millennials have a good grasp of what could be true and what can't be true, and discerning between the two, and understanding nuance or whatnot. But these Gen Z people, I gotta be honest, like they're so like entrenched in the brain rot. Like, it's insane. It's crazy to me. You can get news from other sources. I'm trolling when I say that TikTok should be banned, and I'm happy about it. I'm just trolling. I'm just talking trash. It is what it is. We should not, as Americans or whatever, if this is what we're going to live up to, we shouldn't be, I almost said burning apps, but, shutting down apps and things like that, and getting banning things, right? But national security is national security. If there's a concern there, you need to address it. I'm sorry. This is kind of like the same thing with like the whole border discussion, right? National security is national security. Do I think we should be like Gestapoing people out the country? Not really, but we should have a border. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing, man? Anyway, I'm gonna let Steven go off.
Just reading from an article here on The Verge, I believe. It says the Supreme Court couldn't have been more direct. The Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Control Applications Act, as applied to TikTok, withstands First Amendment scrutiny and can take effect on January 19th. The court agreed that the government had a compelling national security interest in passing the law and that its rationale was content neutral. The solution proposed, forcing Chinese parent company ByteDance, B-Y-T-E, ByteDance, to divest TikTok or see it ousted from the U.S., was ruled appropriately tailored to meet those needs. So essentially, here's the deal. Somebody out there needs to be able to purchase this from ByteDance so it's no longer under Chinese authority. Because evidently, we've got an issue with the Chinese government using TikTok to influence so many American citizens.
Pause. True. It's true. Yes, they are doing it. But you know who else has been doing this and who has an issue with that? It's Israel. Israel does not want, quote unquote, pro-Palestinian or anti-Palestinian or anti-Israeli information on the app. They don't. And the fact that TikTok, the ruling is that they need to be sold to another person or another company or whomever, right? That's you should really keep an eye out on, if they do sell it, who buys it. Who buys it? Rule of thumb, every single time, follow the money. Follow the money. I forget the guy's name. Well, no, Stephen freaking Miller. Stephen Miller and that other guy who was in Trump's old cabinet. I forget his name with the glasses. They had some group, some pro-Israeli group, and it's like, we're gonna buy TikTok. If TikTok is sold to them, what more proof do you need? What more proof do you need? They're both leeching off of us. The Chinese are stealing our data and pushing us degenerate nonsense and pushing us propaganda and trying to influence us. The Israelis are trying to push propaganda, trying to influence us. Like the average American, the average Chinese person, they don't want none of this. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Maybe not the average Chinese. I don't know. I think the average Chinese person does want like peace and this, that, and other, but they want their country to do well. It's like roles were reversed, right? they're in a situation where America was, roaring 20s or whatever, and they're trying to build up their country. They're trying to catch up to us. Like, I get it, right? But we're just getting leeched off of. That's what's happening. We have like no control over everything. We're literally just stuck in between two shitholes. Like, it's awful. And then like the Gen Z people, they just want their brain rot. Like, consume your brain rot somewhere else. I don't know. Like, it's so bad. I don't know. Let me know how I'm wrong in the comment section, because as a millennial, again, I'm looking at this. I'm like, I know what life was like before the internet, when the internet was becoming like mainstream, and now, right? And I feel like that benefits me in understanding that multiple things can be true. Understanding where different countries politically are, understanding where people are people, but like the Gen Z people who have just grown up on the internet, they gotta have that brain rot, like they need it. They need it in their bones. They need it in their brains. It's like it's a drug. Like, it's an actual drug. And China is pushing us degenerate nonsense. Like, it's nothing like blue pill or red pill about it. It's trash. Like, it's trash. Anyone with any common sense knows it's trash. Yes, there are great content creators on there who give you informative information. Yes, but the vast majority of it is nonsense, garbage. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, get a clue. Like, it just is. It is.
Especially the youth amongst us. Now, I do know that TikTok is banned in places like Iran, Afghanistan, Somalia, places like that. Why is it banned there but not here? Who else is thinking about banning TikTok? What's their rationale behind it? Evidently, the Chinese government has figured out a way to utilize TikTok not only to spy on American citizens, but also to influence the youth amongst us. And it's so alarming that the United States government has considered it a national security concern. I say those security concerns usurp our preferences. I got my daughters crying about TikTok, talking about it's not fair. I don't like it. It's not right, Daddy. I'm like, wait a minute. I happen to believe you on TikTok too damn much myself. And what the hell are you looking at on there?
Yeah.
And why do you believe that that's the best source of news that you can find? Because we can't stop everything. You can take their phones away. They got an iPad or a laptop. They use it then. They use other people's phone. They exchange messages. They're reading the news. They're acting like it's the modern day ABC News or something.
All right. So I understand what he's saying. He's kind of making a similar argument to me, but here he's older than me. But hearing him say it, it sounds antiquated. He sounds like a grandfather. Like no one's reading the news anyway, Stephen. But the point still stands. I understand what he's trying to get at, what he's trying to say, right? And I agree. I agree. He's just the examples he's using just sound very old. It's like ABC News. Somebody watch that anyway. Somebody watch that. But the point is, there's other places to get news, and a lot of people who are Gen Z and younger don't understand nuance for some reason. And they don't understand that multiple people are leeching off of them. Multiple groups of people are looking out for their best interests, and they're using these apps and these propagandists, to push their propaganda on you. And like the kids don't really get it. Like, I remember when I used to be in that, I used to have arguments with my dad about like political stuff and everything. Like, sometimes when you get older, like when you're younger, you always think that you're right, and you hear arguments from older people. And you're like, you're just old. You don't know what you're talking about. This, that, and other. Now, I'll never forget, like, you used to have these same sort of like similar arguments, obviously, but like my father and my mother and adults and stuff. And I thought that I knew. But yes, once you get older, you tend, at least I think so, you tend to understand nuance. You look back on certain things and you understand that their life experience, they were actually telling you something that was valid. Like, you need to understand what they are saying, but put your own worldview and world perspective and your access to knowledge and access to technology, and place it on top of what they knew, and then come to your own conclusion. But I don't think anyone, Gen Z, I'm talking about you, the Zoomers or whatever, they're not doing that. It's just, I need my TikTok. I got to get my brain right in. Like, that's all it is. That's all it is. Oh, the Chinese are great. China. I was like, they were like spazzing out last night. Oh my God, TikTok is gone. What did they say? The Pentagon was hit and all this nonsense. Ha ha, hee. Like, I get it. It's funny, but whatever. But it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. That one girl, I forget her name, but like, I know she's just doing it for attention. I get it. But like, she was on Vine, and then Vine got taken out. I used to love Vine. See, perfect example. I'm gonna rant about this forever. I hate it when Vine went down. I used to love Vine, man. Millennial again. I used to love it. Then one day it just got nuked, and I was like, "What the hell happened to Vine?" Yeah, I know the backstory now, but like, now she was on Vine. Now she's on TikTok, and the same thing's happening. So she's got hit twice. So it's kind of funny, but at the end of the day, yeah, we shouldn't be canceling apps. We shouldn't be doing, censorship to this extent. But national security is national security. I don't think it should be, if it's sold to like an American company or something, we really need to make sure it's sold to the proper party. We don't have any control over this, but I hope people, millennials, Gen Z, even boomers who are aware of the situation are paying attention and understand that this has nothing to do with them. This has to do with control. I guess it does have to do with them. This has to do with control and what information is being pushed out. There's no freedom of information here. Like this is absolute nonsense. There's national security issues, but it's not just national security with China. It's national security with Israel as well. If you are American, you should be looking at this as an issue, as a major issue. You want to have your brain right? Let TikTok be brain right? That's all it should be. It shouldn't be anything having to do with China. They shouldn't be stealing our data, using it to like read our text messages or whatever the hell they're doing. And the Israel lobby I'm going to blur this out. And no, they should fuck off. Just to be honest, should fuck off. Like, leave us alone. Like, this is ridiculous. This is left, right, center. If you want to be American, be American. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's a disaster. There's major issues in America that we need to solve, right? We can argue with ourselves about it, but having everyone else just leeching off of us, I hope the Gen Z people actually really understand what's happening. Like, Russia's leeching off of us, China's leeching. We're just a big elite who have been a big dog for so long that we can't afford groceries. So I understand. You go to Red Note and you see them, oh man, they can afford groceries. It feels bad. I get it, but please have some common sense and understand that not every person on that app, if you're going there just giving them your information, has your best interest in mind. Like, just please, like wake up. Like, I honestly just wake up. Anyway, I had to rant about that because it just pissed me off. I'm gonna end on this because I did say that TikTok was unbanned, and so here's something. I just said earlier, who watches ABC News? Literally, all I did was go to YouTube and I looked up TikTok unbanned, and there it is. So here's a short clip. ABC News is talking about TikTok being restored. I don't know how long it's been restored. I guess this is just because, is this because of Trump or whatever? But anyway, let's find out. Let's just find out. Let's see.
From TikTok, the social media app, saying it is in the process of restoring service after going dark for more than 170 million American users late last night. In a statement, the company says President-elect Trump gave it the clarity that service providers would not be penalized. Congress passed the bipartisan bill last April that led to a current banning of TikTok. But it was Trump who signed an executive order, you remember, in August of 2020, to step up pressure on the Chinese-owned app to sell to an American company. Now, Trump is saying he wants the U.S. to have a 50% ownership stake between ByteDance or new owners. Joining us now for more on this, cybersecurity and data protection expert, Caitlin Sarian. Caitlin, thanks for taking the time.
I'm not going to rant. But I know they said how Trump is basically going to get credit for this, that, and the other. I think that is what's actually happening. But if that's what he just said, if that's true, that he says that the U.S. government should have a 50% stake over TikTok or whoever the new owner is, whether you trust the U.S. government or not, I mean, I would prefer that over some other party per se. I don't even want Elon to buy it. Having control over this app. You know what I mean? Because if it's the U.S. government, whether you trust them or not, I think as an American citizen, there's a better chance that it won't just be one, like, more propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, there's a better chance that it won't just be propaganda and they can't shut it down. It's like, oh, it's pro-Chinese, or it's pro-Israeli, or it's anti-Israeli, it's pro-Palestinian. Maybe. It's a possibility. That's all I'm gonna say. And if Trump said that, how could you look at that statement and be like, okay, he's wrong? Like, I would personally prefer that than the Israeli conglomerate buying it or Elon buying it. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man.
Time and being with us. Let's start by getting your reaction to TikTok's announcement on a restoration of service.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in shock for the last like 48 hours. I was in denial. And then last night when it went out, I was in shock and I just kind of stared at my phone. I'm pretty excited to see what happens in the future. And this is looking good for the 170 million of us that are on TikTok. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been a roller coaster of emotions for a lot of us that are content creators on the platform.
So online, you are known as Cybersecurity Girl. You create content specifically educating your viewers on topics like data protection and privacy, things of that nature. Congress and the Supreme Court say this is a national security risk, not necessarily just TikTok, but apps owned by foreign adversaries or companies that are from a foreign adversary. Do you believe Americans' information is really at risk here?
Well, as a cybersecurity professional, you know that everything is a risk, right? You always have to take a risk-based approach. So every service, every website, every app that you use and download, every time you're giving your information to someone, no matter who it is, you have to take a risk-based approach. And for me personally, when I heard back when TikTok was going to partner with Oracle.
Okay, random. Sorry to cut her off. Why is every video? Why they always put on makeup? Like, just tell me what you want. What are you talking about? Like, why is every video? This is talking about TikTok. It's not a major issue. Just me being a dick. Just me being a dick. I swear to God, like, she's a cybersecurity expert. She's like, let me tell you about cybersecurity while I put my makeup. Are they always just putting on makeup? What is going on?
And try to move their services over to the US. I think this was like 3.5, almost 4 years ago now. I started feeling more comfortable going on the platform. So before I actually didn't go on the platform, I took that risk-based approach. I said, I don't feel comfortable giving my data to China at that moment in time. When I heard that TikTok was starting to partner with Oracle, I decided, hey, my risk-based approach it's okay because I feel like my purpose is bigger and I'm gonna be able to reach a larger audience. And that was my risk-based approach. But every single individual has to take that approach, no matter if it's TikTok, whatever app you're using, and just knowing who you're sharing your information with, there's always a risk, especially when it comes to China or other foreign adversaries as well.
Yeah, I think most Americans, I get personal texts to my personal phone from politicians asking me, all sorts of things. Like, everybody gets my information. So I think a lot of Americans,
or India,
everybody has our information, but this is different. This is about foreign adversaries and what they could possibly do. You worked at TikTok, right? I want to know if you think, could you ever imagine a day when we'd be at this point?
No. And again, TikTok was always about inspiring creativity and bringing joy. So I actually started my TikTok, and then ironically, I got my job at TikTok from my TikTok. So I grew really well on TikTok for about a year. And then I applied to a job at TikTok because I was so passionate about their mission. And it completely changed my life. And I know it's completely changed so many of my friends around me life. It impacts so many small businesses. It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And it is a little bit ironic that I truly feel like the TikTok app is the American dream, right? It's allowing people to reach worldwide. It's allowing small businesses to expand outside of their small hometowns.
All right, she's not wrong, but calm down. Just calm down. Like,
really bringing in tons of money for American citizens. And so I had such a passion and purpose. I really, really wanted to work there. And seeing all the behind the scenes, I want to preface that I did not work there's two separate TikToks, right? There's a TikTok US, after Trump had stated that he wanted to bring more to the US or sell to the US. So they started splitting off. There's a TikTok US specifically, and then there's a TikTok Global. And I actually worked at TikTok Global. So I didn't see or touch any of the US data. We were solely focused on everything outside of the US. So all the other countries that use TikTok. But the team that I know that worked at TikTok US, like dedicated individuals, ex-FBI, ex-CIA agents, and then they are, again, partnering with Oracle. So I really felt comfortable with them. But again, it's a risk-based decision. Obviously, I don't know what the Supreme Court saw. I think there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that I didn't have any privy of seeing, and a lot of the American citizens don't, which is why most of us are very confused and hurt and upset and shocked. But I truly believe that our government is doing this to protect the United States as a whole, even if we might not see it that way. So again, it's hard for me because I see both sides, right? I absolutely love the platform. I've seen how much it impacts people, but I also see the negative side effects of apps and just cybersecurity as a whole. So it's very hard for me to judge. All I know is personally, I don't regret my decision of going on TikTok. It's completely changed my life, and I know it's changed so many other people's lives as well.
Caitlin Sarian, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us about it. I do appreciate it.
All right, cool. So, I mean, just to end this off here, I don't think, again, that we should be banning apps. I generally don't. TikTok, whether you like it or not, I'm kind of indifferent. So that's my position on it. Like I've used it. I use it every now and then. I have like a gaming channel. I will upload videos there, but like I'm not just scrolling on TikTok. If anything, I scroll on like YouTube and Instagram way too much. Like that's my brain rot, right? But I tend just not to trust people in general. So I have a very hard time. So that's like my base. That's my base model. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. And so if I go into every situation, like I don't trust TikTok. I don't trust the US government. I don't trust Israel. I don't trust China, right? So if I'm going on these apps, I understand, well, that's my mind state, right? So I don't have an issue with them banning it because I know somebody's doing some BS over there. Why? One, because I don't trust them. And two, I would do it too. Let me be, what's his name? Whatever. Let me be the leader of China. I'm stealing information. Like, come on. I'm stealing it. Like, we should all steal it. Like, let's be for real. So I'm trolling, but not really. That's what they're going to do. So we do it. Like, we do it. Like, as Americans, like the American government does it. But anyway, this whole TikTok is the American dream and all this, like, calm down. There are a lot of companies and small businesses and content creators who are earning money on TikTok, and that's a very bad situation for them, clearly. But it's the American dream. It's the gig economy. We're still doing the gig economy. Final rant before I end the video because it's getting a little long. Just yesterday, I was having a conversation with somebody because, like, as a millennial, I grew up with the gig economy. Like, I remember when Uber was coming up and all this, like, it was all gig economy. You got 2 or 3 jobs just to get by and all this nonsense, right? We're still freaking doing it. Americans don't make anything anymore. We don't create anything. And there was a clip in this video when she was talking, when they were doing their B-roll of TikTok, that triggered me a little bit because, like, she was whoever it was scrolling TikTok, and it was like the screen protectors for the back of the iPhones for the camera, and instantly what went into my mind is like, God, like we just consume everything. It's just all just consumption. TikTok is just brain rot, consumption, and then more brain rot. And then every other video is something that actually makes sense or something that actually is informative or a story that's just like lighthearted and entertaining. But the vast majority of it is consumption and brain rot. And like, yes, it triggered me. You go back and watch the video. It was like the rear facing camera, the protector for the lens. Oh my God. Like, it's just so much freaking brain rot and consumption. Like, we don't make anything in America. Like, it's actually ridiculous. So outside of me being triggered with that, let me know how I'm right, how I'm wrong. Please let me know how I'm wrong. I'm here for a debate, but not even a debate. I just want to know, because I don't assume or presume in this case that I know everything. I'm open to criticism. I'm open to other ideas, but if you're gonna put something in the chat that's just like blatantly biased or just like you just didn't even think about it, I'm not gonna respond. I'm just gonna let it sit there and like let everybody read your brain rot. So, anywho, take it easy. I'm out.